Welcome back to Mechanical Siding. I'm Dave, and this time we're going to look at wiring. I was going to try and do it from underneath the layout, but it's at my age it's not a lot of fun to do that, and so I decided I would make a little mock-up of a layout, just a baseboard, cork, track. We got plexi at each end to stop the locos from rolling off this once we get it powered attached to it. And then on the bottom I'm going to show you how I wire my layout. So I'll just walk you through this, and you're going to see more of my hands than you're going to see of me probably for most of this. Anyway, this is a 3-day print of the standoff that holds a little circuit board that I use on my layouts to attach my droppers to. I designed this in Fusion 360. It took about 3 tries to get it right. Hardest thing was getting the holes to line up with the circuit board. So that's how it comes out of the printer, with all of these supports and stuff on it. And then once you get it off the printer, it looks like this. It's just a little piece of plastic with 4 towers, one at each corner, and that's designed to hold the little circuit board. Now, I'm just going to walk through this, talk my way through this as we do this, so you can see exactly how it would be if I was lying on my back and trying to do this underneath the layout. So the first thing to do is to attach the standoff. You'll notice that there's already a bus here on my right, and that's because some of this is repetitive, and I thought, well, over and over, I just have to show you how I do this. Now these are this is 16 gauge wire. I don't use I use 16 gauge wire from these little terminal blocks to the circuit board because you can't get 12 gauge into them. The 12 gauge is just way too big for the board. So here's the board. Now this board I got from, let's see if we can get that to focus or not. Wait a sec. You know what I'll do? I'll show you camera 1 and you can see what it looks like. So that's it there. It's got basically a straight through bus. It's got 4 terminal blocks. Each one has 3 wires. So 4 times 3 is 12. So this is a 24 bus, which is more than enough for what I do. And then at each end there is a blue bus, which is where the main bus hooks up. And as I said, it's not big enough on these little blue buses at the end of the circuit board to take a 12 gauge wire. So I drop it down to 16. 12 gauge goes into these terminal buses on my layout. So like I say, what happens down here is that the 12 gauge bus comes in, hooks up here, goes to 16, goes onto this, and that sits there. So let's get some of this attached and we'll get busy. Alrighty, here we go. One in there, and one in here. I use metric nuts, and you can thread the plastic. I threaded it yesterday once I got it off the printer and cleaned up and everything. So that's tight there. And this one's good there. So now that's good and solid. So the next thing is put that 16 gauge right in there. And then with a tiny little screwdriver, tighten that up. Take the black, put that in there, and tighten that up. So now we have one side of the bus. Now we're going to pretend, we're on in the video here, that this is the last part of the bus. The bus stops right here. An interesting set phrase, bus stops here. So we're going to put a snubber on this thing. My layout has about 55 to 60 feet of wiring, and several people have recommended that snubber might be a good thing at the end of the line. And because it also has a peninsula, which is a dead end, there'll be a snubber at the end of that one as well. But right now we'll just continue on with this the way it is. All right. So the next thing is to put another bus, little terminal bus here. Grab my impact wrench. Trying to be very careful. You don't want. The first time I screwed down the bus to hold the circuit board, I really went to town and smashed up the bus so it was in pieces. Let me see if you could see this here. Anyway, it snapped right off. We had 3 pieces on the standoffs and another one sitting here all by its lonesome. So I could have used it if I'd just gone kitty corner, but I don't like to do things that way. I like to make sure that it's right, so I can put screws in every corner if I need to. Okay. So now we're ready to make up the wire that goes from this side of this terminal block into this side of the circuit board. So I've already pre-cut some wire here, and I've got these spade connectors, and what I'm going to do is crush that so it's good and solid. And then I'm going to get my red wire. Oh, what did I do there? Jeez. Some days you just can't win. That should have a blue thing on it, not a red thing on it. Because for some reason when I bought the package online, instead of getting black and red in this size, I got blue and red. So at least blue starts with a B, which makes it easy to remember what it's for. So there's your black lead. Grab another red one here. Now I'm using stranded wire. I went online again to a Facebook group, N-Scale group, and asked the question, what gauge wire should you use? Well, it was a toss-up between 16 and 12, but most of the people were saying that the 12, because of the length of my runs, was a better deal. So that's why we have to do this drop down in size. And even at 16, it's tricky to get them in here. I put the screwdriver in there and then kind of wheel the little clamp up a bit. There we go. Perfect. And now, this terminal block's a little loose. I have to resolder that. Loosen that up. Twist this. And like I say, it's not always the easiest thing to get this in here. So what I done, I just put the screwdriver in there and just give it a little push to make it open more. Now these terminal blocks are 4 pounds. I think 4 pounds 90, so almost 5 pounds. And I bought them because I was originally going to use these. These here. But it meant that I'd have to have a whack of these underneath the layout, because there's only 8 on here as opposed to the 12 and 12 here. So there's 24 coming off this, and there'll be 8 coming off this. So I figured I could save some money by not having to buy these. I know they're dirt cheap, but I like this setup better. So now let's, I'm just going to put my glasses on. And, oh, first I got stand. There we go. And in she goes. And we give her a little twist here and tighten her up. Now that essentially is how I wire every block or jurisdiction, more correctly of mine, because I'm not doing block detection, but jurisdiction. So if we're talking jurisdictions, this might be, and it is right now, it's done underneath the quarry layout. It's the side, the whole side is wired. And this would be what I would call quarry, as a junction area where all of the wires come in. I should be able to do the whole length of the quarry with just one of these buses. So that's what I plan to do. So the next thing is we have to prepare the main bus. Now, again, the internet is a wealth of knowledge about stuff like this. Most people were saying that you have to twist the wires. In your main bus. Something to do with current and signal and all sorts of other things. I can't be bothered learning all that stuff, but right now, if you really want to learn about wiring, Larry Puckett, the DCC guy, fantastic videos. Sometimes way beyond my scope of anything, but very clear, very precise, and he's very helpful. So I would recommend his website to you. It's called the DCC guy, and he's a great provider of information. So anyway, in order to twist a long length of wire, like the wire I ran for the side of the quarry, I use a drill, and I put the wires in the drill chuck. I've got a, and I'm just going to spin this drill There we go. So now, I have a twisted wire, and we're going to hook up this twisted wire So if you're mapping your layout, say we're going north-south, this would be the south-north. You got your droppers going off of this. Races. So what I'm going to do now is take this. I've got enough wire. Snip it here. It's a great tool, by the way. If you want to get a pair of strippers for model railroading, get one of these Stripack Professionals. Just fantastic. Much nicer than the old style where it sort of opened up to strip the wire. This one, you stick the wire in the end of it, put it up against the rest, and bang, you've got a beautifully stripped piece of wire. You know, trying to keep that twist in this stuff. Again, same thing with the black. And twist. So again, we need some more of these spade connectors. Now, one of the things, and I only found out when I started to do this video, is that these spade connectors come in different sizes. So I have a bag of red and black, and I thought I was going to get away with using them today. Unfortunately, they do not go in these terminal blocks. They're way too big. They go in this one, no problem. They just perfectly slide in, and there's nothing, no problem at all with them. There we go, right like that. So, fortunately, I bought two sizes, but not because I knew that I should buy two sizes, just dumb luck. So here we go. So again, we have our black and the red wire here through. Get my crimper. Now this crimper can be a nuisance sometimes. Sometimes takes quite a bit of strength to get it to. And again here on the black lead, and crimp. Phillips screwdriver. And I'll lay that over there. Make sure the twist is still in it. Strip this off because we'll get down to the end here. I'm going to hook up my booster and my power cab, and we're going to see if we can make an engine run, which now I think I already said this, but I'll say it again. I use stranded wire. It's supposed to be DCC friendlier than solid. Although solid sometimes make it easier to crimp them and put them into these circuit boards and stuff. On this end, when we get there near the end here, we're going to put this this little, I don't know if you can see it, it's a snubber, and it's used at the end of your runs. It provides you with the capability of having RF signals continuous while you're running your layout. All of my stuff is from what is it for? Where's my power cap here? NCE. All right. So now we're ready to put the droppers in place. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to get the 16 gauge wire out of the way. And I'm going to go and get some 20 gauge. It's either 20 or 22. I can never remember. The box doesn't seem to want to tell us what gauge it is, but it's got a little thing on the end that's supposed to tell you, but they haven't ticked it off, so I have no idea. I just know it works well. So here, what I do is, again, strip the wires, and I take a pair of pliers and bend this so it's 90 degrees from itself. Do the same on the other. And this is where I solder these on. Now, when I get my, there they are. Let me get my other glasses because I really want to be able to see what I'm doing. So the first thing I do is to pinch off one of the little studs that hold the track to the tie, just on the outside, always on the outside. You put it on the inside and you're going to be in a world of hurt. It's not going to work. Now, let's bring this little puppy up, and we'll see what we can do. Now, I'm not great at soldering. I'll be the first one to admit it and the first one to tell people that I'm not great at soldering. But so I have this solder. It's a rosin-based solder. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring this out and just turn the heat up. There we go. There we go. You got solder on it. This is a tiny little solder gun. I really like it. I think I got 4 soldering irons. And for some reason, I'm not good at soldering. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's the way it is. So here we go. So yeah, like I said, I'm not great at soldering. Now, probably somebody's screaming at the screen. Why didn't you use any flux? Well, the reason I didn't use any flux is that up until this very moment I haven't needed to. This solder is good, and it just there we go. It doesn't help that I have shaky hands. You know, I may have to run and get rosin. I know where it is. I'm just being impatient here. Come on, you beast. This is why I wasn't going to show you me underneath the layout. There we go. There we go. Finally. There's the red one. Now, one of the biggest problems with soldering is that on most layouts, at certain points, you're not going to be able to see what you're doing. You're going to have to figure out a way to let you see the other side of the track so that you can solder. Here we're lucky. If I want to, I'll flip it around. But what I tend to do is use a mirror. So I would pull the mirror up here, and this is where the old adage is, if you're going to solder, you need 4 hands. Where is that little, oh, there's that rig. I'm just going to get that, just step out for a second, and get that rig to hold the mirror. There we go. So now I can see the far side. And damn it, that thing has come loose. I don't want to run off and get rosin unless I have to. This is... There we go. Alright, let's pick up some more solder here. Let's see if I can do this better. Oh. Like I say, I'm not the best at this. Come on, you beast. I just wonder whether it's this track. I'm not using the track I use for the layout. I bought a bunch of Pico track. Yeah, just wondering if it's different. Okay, now we got her. At least I hope we do. It'll probably come apart as I try and put them down to the bottom of the board. But we'll see. That box, and of course the red is not. Let's go back and try it again. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And of course, on air, I can't do it. Oh, maybe. All right. Right now, I'm not going to yank on these because I want to be able to do this without them coming off. So down, it's a little warm there still. So now I feed the wire down through here. It's going to get disappear with ballast over top of it. So now we go down. Can't believe I got the one where I can't see and had to use a mirror. and didn't get the other one right away. Well, that's life. Alright, now I'll get that out of the way for now. So now we have the droppers down underneath. Move stuff out of the way, and we're going to flip this over. And get my stripper. Now these droppers are solid wire. And it makes it much easier to get them into these little buses here. There we go. There's the red in there. And let's put the black underneath here so it's easier to get through. There we go. And in she goes. So in theory, God willing, I can plug in my booster and my my cab, and we can see if we can get a locomotive to move on this thing. So I got so much stuff around here, it's unbelievable. So and there's the NCC, there's the booster. And let's see, that way. Oh, we got power. We got red lights everywhere. Good. All right, so I'm going to go red to red here. And just to, actually I think I'll use the bigger ones. Just to make sure everything stays connected while we're playing with this, I'm going to crimp this on. We can cut it off afterwards. Nope. Like I said, we're going to try anyway. Oh, that's a small one. That's why, David. And black to black. Like I said, we're going to cut these off afterwards, so it doesn't really matter. And my light's still red. This means there isn't a short anywhere. And we'll crimp this one down too, just to make absolutely sure. Power cab is up and running, and we have one of my diesels. Now let's see if we get anything. There you go. And direction is forward. And then we're off to the races. Go backwards. So I hope that was instructive. Like I say, that's normally how I do it under the layout. lying on my back on a little riser platform, so I can just lay and just put my hands straight up and work. But it's, I think any of us who have got a model railroad, wiring on your back underneath something, or even on your knees, is not the most fun thing to do in the world. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Next week, I'm not sure what we're doing. I think I'm going to look at wiring the lights for buildings on the layout itself. That's what camera 3 is actually looking at. No, camera 1's actually looking at it. That bus there is, that mess of wires is one portion of the lights on the I've got to get those wires through 3 inches of foam and then some MDF underneath that everything's sitting on. I use 3 inches because it allows me to vary the terrain easily. I just take a hot knife, hot cutter, and just cut through the foam, and I can make it dip down, come up again. I can change the elevation of the surroundings while keeping the track fairly level. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the bell and subscribe, and it helps if someone likes this. So anyway, thank you very much, and I'll catch you on the next one.